Hello guys, Shadow Sabbath here, and today I'm doing another episode of my Amphibia episode review, and it's a bit sad because this is officially the last episode before the season finale, and after that I'm really going to have nothing to talk about. This has been one of my favorite shows, and season 2 has been going since last August. I've been so excited. I remember when season 2B just came out, and now next episode is True Colors, the season finale. I am so excited, guys. As for these two episodes, I really enjoyed them. But it's still annoying to know. Like, if we didn't know that there was going to be season 3, I may have enjoyed this a bit more. Just knowing that this could have been the end of the show, but no, it's actually not. And you'll see what I'm talking about later in this episode review. So, of course, we start off with the dinner. So at first, I wasn't too sure who, but they end up calling Sasha and Grime over for dinner. Earlier on in the season, I was wondering who it's actually going to be, but in this episode, they're not exactly friends, and not exactly enemies. They're in that in-between place. So really, everyone's kind of on guard. And what I found interesting is, when they're talking about bringing Sasha and Grime over, the Planter family still doesn't trust them, obviously, because they tried to kill Harp. But I realized, in the third temple, they never really addressed Sasha's redemption after. Even when it ended, they never really addressed it. So I'm glad that they brought this back, like what they did after the rain and then the first temple, how Hop and Ann still didn't trust each other. I like how they do that, so it doesn't feel like it just ends after the episode. The first thing we learn in this episode is that Sasha has a bunch of daggers everywhere, especially in her boots. And I know this has nothing to do with the story, but all those daggers, is that why her boots were so heavy in the third temple? I'm just asking. So basically, they're all meet up, they're happy again, because they're finally meeting up on purpose this season. They have not at all met up on purpose, actually this entire show since they've gone to Amphibia. And they're basically super excited. And of course, Grime tells Sasha to be on her best behavior, because they're still trying to trick them. And Anna and Marcy tell the rest of the planters to be on their best behavior. The rest is, this review is probably going to be a bit short because there wasn't much to talk about this episode. The rest is mostly just Sasha getting annoyed at the rest of the family. Like when Sprig does this, I find this hilarious, this face. And when they talk at dinner, and they talk about different times, many times when Sasha again was controlling, and where Anne actually took the blame. And honestly, I feel like all this may factor into Sasha's redemption arc, seeing as she actually shows a lot of emotion during these times when she claims to be faking it. And I understand that's her purpose, but honestly, you think she showed less emotion. And you can tell Sasha's the kind of character who really can't hide what she's feeling. So after they play, I forgot what the game's called. A game where you draw and have other people trying to guess, and they don't get the obvious tree and think it's the tower exploding. Basically saying a bunch of bad stuff about Sasha. She ends up getting angry and throwing the whole game, which breaks it. So as everyone's arguing, Grime's volcano erupts, sending lava everywhere. And I forgot what they're called. It's those bugs that have stingers, but they're not bees. And I don't believe it was wasps. And I'll get to it later. Anyway, it sends them everywhere, and of course, everybody thinks Grime did this on purpose. But he states that this is actually a delicacy for turtles. The main thing I took away this episode is that no matter how dressed out they get, they never take off their weapons. Marcy still has her crossbow on, and Sasha still has some extra daggers, even when she was supposed to get rid of them all. So then they learn an important lesson. And that lava hardens, it tastes like a delicious chocolate. Oh, it's not. It actually looks pretty good, guys, for an amphibian thing. Yep, after the lava hardens and they defeat those locusts, or I'm just going to call them locusts for now. Yeah, they get a bunch of chocolate. So he actually wasn't trying to explode their house, even though he completely destroyed their house. That's what they're wondering about. They've never actually permanently destroyed this house, so what's going to happen here? Then we move on to Battle of the Bands. This episode I'm not going to talk too much about, mostly because nearly everything I want to talk about are copyrighted songs, so that's really it. Basically, Man Total says, because Sasha and Grime are here and everybody's really on high alert, they bring out something called the Fun Wheel, which is basically a bunch of activities that they could do on a wheel. First thing I'm happy about, they brought him back. Sloppy Joe. Next, it lands on, you guessed it, the Battle of the Bands contest. So basically, everybody's going to have a singing contest in teams. Now, the first thing I didn't expect in this episode was that Spring and Hop Pop would run away to another band. I honestly thought they'd just help out, or even just not join a band, but the fact that they went to a completely other band, it shocked me. I found it hilarious at first. So then Grime runs off as Sasha goes to join Anne and Marcy. And then Mayor Toadstool actually realizes he can take a break for 12 hours because of this contest. And when he tells Toadie he can do whatever he wants, I mean, just look at his face and you can tell what was going through his head. So then basically they talk about that they had a garage band, Anne has a song, so they're not going to do Sasha's song. Sasha tries to completely change Anne's song. Sasha ends up leaving the band. And Sasha finds a perfect match for her because she wants total control, while Toadie wants absolutely no control and wants to follow someone else. So basically, when Sasha finds Toadie, of course, they get in a band. A very small band, but a band. They do Sasha's song Heart Stomper, which you can actually look up and check out the full song. So yeah. Anyway, after that, when she asks Toadie about different things, like suggestions and such, he has absolutely none, because he only follows, he doesn't have his own ideas. And mostly throughout this episode, Toadie just talks to Sasha about being a good friend. So then, Anne and Marcy continue on without Sasha in their song that Anne made. Even though it does require Sasha at the end part, so Anne plans to do it herself. It's actually a guitar solo, which is funny because Mary Toadstool says, yeah, it's pretty good. But unless they have a killer guitar solo at the end, it was ridiculous. So Sasha joins in and helps them. And they get 2 8s, which is really good. I was wondering, why didn't they get 2 10s, guys? Because the real winning act came up next. This is probably one of the best scenes I've ever seen in Amphibia. Grime playing, I forgot the name, is it a harp? And it even says 3 hours later. And he ends up getting 2 10s while everyone's crying. Mind you, this is the person that tried to assassinate this whole village. The ruthless Toad. And he plays the harp and wins them over. That was the best part of the episode, hands down. But of course, there's something I didn't like about this episode. At the end, when Toadstool's basically telling them, so you're leaving, right? And they're talking about how they're leaving after this. If you look at the faces, look at Sasha's face, normal. Look at Anne's face. But look at Marcy's face, who's looking at Anne and not smiling. Right before the last episode. Why? Why is it always my favorite character? And after that, they take a giant photo, which is probably going to become my screensaver. So yes, it looks awesome. And I wonder, is it completely over? Is the Wartwood arc completely over? I mean, yes, there's going to be a season 3, but after the events of True Colors, are they still going to return back to Wartwood? But just looking at this, so many people. There's the bounty. Is the bounty hunter? Oh my gosh, I never even noticed that before. But the Scarecrow guy's in the back. We have Michelangelo, Frobo, the mayor, Maddie and her sister. Oh wow. It just gets me sad about how far we've come. 2 seasons. Oh my gosh. 2 seasons in Amphibia. That's nice. And it's funny to think about how it began. I mean, it's not even the season finale, but remember, it began with Anne being the monster that they either wanted to kill or give to the next village. I mean, just seeing this, it's amazing. And that's really going to end this episode, guys. I really enjoyed them. It was like the calm before the storm, just like they did last time with Anne of the Year and Reunion. So True Colors is up next. I can't say I'm excited for it because my favorite character is about to betray my other favorite character. So let's get this over with. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice day.